Hello, Journeyers. Welcome back to Journeist Conversations, where we talk to people, individuals who are embracing their journey to greatness. They also know and believe that they were put here on this earth to impact the lives of others through ministry, writing books, speaking on stages, entrepreneurship. So today we have a guest today that we're going to have coming in, Mr. Christopher Shaw, and Mr. Shaw is the actual CEO of Be Infinite Company. So we're going to bring Mr. Shaw on, and we're going to start up this little interview and check on the life of this journeyist and see how he's making out with what he's been called to do.
Hey,
Hello,
Lisa.
Chris.
Hey, Tony, thank you for having me on your show, man. This is exciting. I love it.
No problem. How are you?
I'm very blessed to, just be alive and being able to do what I do every day to help people. So I'm
Okay.
doing
So
good.
let's get right into it then. How do you do that? How do you help people? How does Christopher Shaw help people?
Well, I feel like from very early age, I was all in entrepreneurship. I remember when I was younger, in our backyard, I built go karts, and then I would put on a go kart like stunt show for the people, the neighborhood kids. They had to pay to get in there to see it, so it wasn't free. So
Yeah.
and then another thing I had was when I was younger, I had a fish fry. I would fry up fish and fries for the neighborhood kids. They had to come and buy a plate. And so, when you get older and you start to think back all the things that really led you to who you are. And then I started
Mhm.
thinking entrepreneurship has always been in my blood. I was
Yeah.
finding ways to not only make money, but add value I mean, that added value to the neighborhood when they can go get a,
Yes.
get a
Some
fish
fried
plate
fish
and get a fish plate and some,
and a show.
and a show. So I was called to help entrepreneurs, but not just entrepreneurs as far as just selling some course they don't need or something like that, but actually walking them through and guiding them through with strategy and software. So yeah, that's what my journey. I love Journeist, by the way. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it, and I love how you explain it to people, so you make it clear. So I am.
Right, because I know it is a word that was created, so I have to kind of like, what is that? I've never heard of that. So, I went to I actually was at a hair show, and there was a young man that was teaching a class, and he was like, if you're a professional and you skilled at whatever you do, just add IST on the end. And I was like, okay, I like that. Yeah. So that's where journey is came from. You embracing your journey to greatness. And you are that type of person that you're always on that journey. You're always embracing it, and you're always trying to get the next person to that next level. So tell me a little bit about, since you know that you were called to do this type of work, it's in marketing, and you were called to, help people get to the next step. Um, a lot of times it can feel a little overwhelming because you're constantly in someone else's world, in their head, and trying to get their thoughts and their concepts across. Does it ever impede on you being a family man or a God-fearing man?
Oh yes. Work-life balance is really really hard to do, especially when you're in an industry like mine. It's not just a cookie cutter industry. Like everybody's going to need different needs, and so you always have to be on top of your game. You got to be on top of what the industry moves, and so
Yeah.
that takes a lot of time to cultivate and become an expert in, especially also when you're dealing with different personalities. One of the things that I'm blessed to be at this point right now that I can pick and choose who I want to deal with. But
Right, work with.
before I couldn't do, whoever had a heartbeat and a wallet, I had to take at some point. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was tough because if somebody gives you a penny, I remember I was working with this candidate one time, and he said, "Man, Chris, these people donate a penny to me, and they think they want me to change a whole law in their name." And that's the same. I felt that because they give you a penny and they think they own you, and they forget that you're a family man. They forget that you have a wife to take care of, and even other clients. So
Mhm.
since they forget, I made sure I couldn't forget, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to set boundaries. One of the very first things I did when the boundaries started getting crossed, I realized I had to set expectations for the client and expectations for myself, and that no matter what, how much money they're paying or whatever, how well we work together, they can't cross some of these boundaries. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
I can't cross them either, because once I cross the boundary, then they're gonna think, oh, look, Chris is
So
doing
it's
this, so I
okay.
can, if I answer a
Yeah.
call on a weekend or after hours, they're gonna take advantage of it. And it's not even from a sense of malintent. They're not trying to be mean or nothing.
Right.
It's just
Right.
you can cultivate that mindset in them to say, hey, this is when the cutoff time, and that no matter what it is not more important than my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I had to really cultivate that, and that took time on my part, because I'm the one that let that happen. So I
Hmm.
had to reel it back in. Um,
Yeah.
and just for an action step, one of the things I did, and I don't know if everybody likes to do this, but I went and bought 2 phones, like one phone just for business and one personal phone, so I could just totally separate it. And then 9 times out of 10, I know that if this business phone rings, it's for business. You know what
Business.
I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
that was one of the simplest first steps I did to kind of start getting my life work balance back.
And that's a good one, and it's an easy one,
Yes.
because I probably have been one of those clients that call, and it's
No,
this,
you
you don't
weren't.
think about it. You it's like you have all these ideas when you're a solopreneur. You got all these ideas in your head, and it's constantly thinking. You're constantly like, okay, what I need to do, what I need to do. Did I think about that? Did I think about this? And then when you're working with somebody in marketing, like I said, you have to constantly be in our heads. Like, what is it we're trying to
Yeah.
get? What's the message we're trying to relay? And what we're trying to get out there? And how are we trying to connect with people? So I think I may have even been guilty of calling like, "Hey, Chris, what you think about?" And then you just start rambling, and I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Now, but that, like I said, it's my fault too, because me and you have been, you called me and then we start talking. I get excited about this. I love it when Tony's like, man, Chris, I got this new idea. And I really, really love it too, because you already put in most of the work. I really just have to put your thoughts in order. You know what I mean? A
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
clients, they think they did that, but they didn't. There's a lot of stuff that you did before you even met me, which makes my job so much easier.
Right.
And that's the kind of cultivation that you have to do at certain points. And so
Mhm.
with someone like you, I keep that in my mind. Like, I don't have to tell Toni every little step. I just have to,
Mhm.
this is our next step. And man, you come back and you 5 steps ahead of that one step I told you to do. And so I can get behind
This
somebody
thing,
like that. I can get
it never
behind them.
shuts off, Chris. This thing never shuts off. It's
That's
like it's
good.
always, but that's only been since I've been a full-time entrepreneur.
Yes.
Uh and it's like all the time I'm always trying to think of like, what should I be doing? What do I need to be doing? Because I want to
Mhm.
make sure that my brand is out there. So
Yes.
let's jump over to some things that Be Infinite does for solopreneurs.
Okay.
So I have worked with you in Be Infinite for branding and getting my name out there. So what would you say is the largest task that you've had as a entrepreneur yourself would Be Infinite, but actually providing services to a solopreneur? So what's the hardest task that you had, you think that it
Oh
is?
man, now that comes. I know right off the top of my head. It's letting them know that they are their brand and that they are unique. So a lot of people don't realize that they're when they start a business, they're looking, how do I sell, how do I market, how do I do these things, and they overlook the fact that they're already unique, and that's what you need to start with. Start with your own voice, your own feel, your own look. An example of this would be like, if we're here in Texas, so we got a lot of accident injury lawyers, and the
Right.
billboards are on the side of the freeway. But you have to realize any one of those accident injury lawyers can help you with your case. Any one of them, but each
Mhm.
one of them have their own different voice. Like you got the law boss, he's
Yeah.
cool, he's
Yeah.
smooth, you know what I'm saying? You got I just got
Texas Hammer.
hit.com. Uh,
Yeah.
that little silly commercial with the girl, it's cute. And then you have Jim Adler, you got the Texas Hammer, and he's
Hammer,
kind of
yeah.
tough and gritty, but every one of them they have all the same service, and each one of them can help you with the case, but they each have their own brand. And what that brand is going to do is going to help them stand out to their ideal client. So it's going to help them stand out to their market. And I know all of them are eating because a billboard costs like sometimes $4,000 a week, depending on your. So all of them have connected with the right people, and they realize that I just have to really be myself, right? And then the marketing gets easier, your budget gets smaller, your website, everything, it just flows with once you figure out who you are, in your own voice, your own look. So that's the hardest thing. People come with wanting a website, they want email marketing, they want all these different tools, but they haven't put that foundation, and that foundation is them. I just have to help them cultivate that and help them see that. Like I don't care if there's a million lawyers out there, you're unique. So let's focus on that, right? That's your strongest.
Right.
And that is the hardest thing sometimes that we have to cultivate, because people are thinking we're actually going backwards. Like I came to you for a website, I came to you for a logo, and then I have to go over that. They're like, this doesn't have nothing to do, but it
really does.
But it's the foundation. It's the foundation. Right. You're trying to move before you really have that. You're trying to run before you have that, you can crawl, have that foundation. And so that is I really, really focus on that. So one of the things we do to really provide that, we do a free strategy session. And in that strategy section, we can, with the questions that we ask you, we can figure out if you need to go back to that branding stage and really formulate that branding. And for solopreneurs, it's even more important because they don't have a lot of money or time to wait.
Right.
You just said it yourself. Ever since you became an entrepreneur, your brain has been moving, 24/7. And part of that is because you are responsible for bringing in your own money, right? You're 100%. So your brain, you got to be moving and thinking,
Yeah.
And then, so there's a lot of different things, but that is the number one thing. Just, realize who you are, establish your look, your feel, and your voice so you can talk to your ideal client.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I was going to go into next. What do you think is the most important thing that they need to do first when they talk to you as marketing? So you answered both questions. I appreciate that. What else are some of the things that Be Infinite offers, and how does it impact? Do you believe it impacts the lives of a solopreneur? So what are some other things that you do that impact the lives of solopreneurs?
Well, Be Infinite as a whole is a branding agency with our own software platform. When you met me, we were focusing on branding, website, and custom type builds. And so what we implemented was our Be Infinite platform. And with the Be Infinite platform, someone can go there in one place, one login, right? And get their website, get an online store, a membership site, a full sales funnel, their email marketing, their appointment booking, and manage their social media all in one place. So now we're not having you come to us, and that allows us to help you create a plan to where we can implement all those things without having to make a lot of different companies and a lot of different software work together, right? Because that's what we used to have to do. If we wanted all those things, we'd have to, and those companies, for lack of a better term, weren't built to work with anybody else. You see what I'm saying? They knew they wouldn't have to. So if somebody did an email marketing company, they knew they were going to have to work with a web design company, but it wasn't like the first thing. First, we need to get the email marketing and prove why it works, right? So with the Be Infinite platform, we were kind of taking it into mind that if we have everything they need to create a flow, an automation flow, then that way we can strategize the plan out and then implement our software where it needs to go. So we kind of combine those two to take it a step further than like another website building company that doesn't know the branding marketing side of things. So we
Right.
offer the whole complete package to, especially a solopreneur. We're very affordable, and we love to work with people who have big visions, get behind them, and just be that driving force.
Yeah, that and that's important, like you said, for a solopreneur to be able to go to one place and
Yeah.
get all this stuff done, because all this stuff is essential to how you get your brand out there, how you get your name, how you find your customers, how they find you. So it is really, really important that you can go to one person and get all of that done. Because
Hmm.
again, but when I first started out, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do website building over here, then I'm gonna go and get the branded name over here. Then I'm gonna do a logo. I'll get somebody to give me a logo by $75 over here. So it's good that you have it all compact and have it in one place. Don't be laughing at me, Chris. It's true. That's what I
No, no,
did.
no,
So
no, no. I'm being an active listener. That's kind of what I do. Everybody says that. It's like, Chris, don't laugh at me. It's not that. I'm excited. I love being on your show. I'm excited.
yeah, I
I like
appreciate
this.
that, and I love having you on the show because I mean we have did some great business and great things together. So, and I know we're going to continue that
Oh,
relationship.
yes.
So, let's see. Do you feel that what you do is ministry? Do you feel
Oh,
that what you do, and how is it looked at as ministry?
oh, that's a good question. At first, you're not thinking that deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and then also you hear all the time from people that you need to separate the work and the your life, and then
Mm-hmm.
other people separate your work, your life, and then God, and then God is over
Mm,
here by himself. But I've learned from experience that is not the case. Like I said
mm-hmm.
earlier, if you set expectations to put your family first, that is you're going to see so many benefits from this entrepreneur thing. And that's what I've
Mm-hmm.
learned, that instead of me focusing on building a business and then passing it down to my kids, right,
Mm-hmm.
I focused on building myself and passing characteristics down to my kids so they can be a shining light to not only other kids, we can be a shining light to families
Yeah.
around, whoever comes in contact with us. One
Mhm.
of the things I love about God is that he always wants you to start with you, right? He's like, hey, you have a relationship with me. You can bring all these people to me through your actions, right?
Right.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I learned, that it with through my business and helping people free up themselves with entrepreneurship. Now it's hard, but
Mm-hmm.
anything worth really having is hard, right? You have to go through something
Amen.
in order to be something new. So you should really embrace that because
Right.
it's just part of it. If you
Right.
fight it, it's just going to get harder. Just like you go into a gym. If you go into the gym with a negative attitude, like, oh man, why? But if you go in there like, I got to go through this. I want to. This is what I asked for.
Right.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so with me having to face that, it's really been a ministry to not only my wife and my kids,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody in my circle and everybody who in my circle of influence and people who just meet me. So yes, I feel like it's a ministry because they ask you, where's this light coming from? Where do you get your inspiration? And it's always
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
I was like, I always say, if you knew me before, man, I know who I was. And I wouldn't even thought about half the stuff or done half
Right.
the stuff that I do on my own. I couldn't do it. My mind wasn't there. I was in a whole nother different place. So with that being said, yes, I believe it is turning to ministry. And then you really get a chance to get intimate with people, since you're helping them with their business. You're
Mm-hmm.
helping them to feed their family now. So they want to get intimate, they want to get, personal with you, especially if it's going to help their brand, and especially how we do it from helping them focus on themselves. We have to know more about them than a typical merchant or a typical partner that they
Right.
deal with. We have to know more. So that's an open door for me to do the
Mm-hmm.
ministry, for me to tell them, who I am and why I do this and this and that, and it always leads to God. So yes, I believe it's a
Yeah.
ministry. And
Yeah. You
I
okay?
believe it's a
Go ahead.
ministry, in that sense that I get to, face not only my fears, but help others face theirs as well, and then
Yeah.
lead them to Christ.
And what another thing that just hearing you talk about it, that kind of just sticks out for me is that it's a ministry. And when you said that when they come to you for as a solopreneur or whoever they are and they're trying to get their brand out, them just understand and recognize that they are an individual, that they
Yes.
should embrace that uniqueness about them. That's a ministry in itself, because there's so many people who don't have a clue about what that looks like, or why we all were created different, but we all have a distinct purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you get a person to see that about themselves, that's ministry in itself. Like, oh Lord, I didn't realize why I was created. Oh my God, I didn't realize, what makes me, my little quirkiness is kind of what makes me different from everybody, but it's also how God designed me to do what I do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a ministry in itself. And that's a big responsibility too, because you are now, responsible for helping them to see that, or shedding
Yes.
some light on it so they can see it.
And I embrace that. I embrace
Yeah.
that because once they see it, their whole aura change, their
Yeah.
whole outlook change. And you have to realize too, a lot of people just to have the thought of entrepreneurship and that just scares them just to think about doing something on their own, not even whatever it is. They don't even know what they're going to do. But when I start talking about entrepreneurship and they know that I'm going to have to do it on their own, and when they get to a point to where they at least want to have that strategy session, then we lay it out and we help them see who they are and where their real
Mhm.
strengths are. Oh man, it you
Yeah.
can see their confidence just goes up the roof,
Yeah.
and especially if you make it simple and plain to them,
Mhm.
it that type of confidence is going to feed to the rest of their life, and the
Yeah.
rest, their kids, if they have kids, their friends, everybody's going to see a new them. And that's how you change the world. You're changing
Yeah.
it through God, because I
Yeah.
listened to him, and then we went through the clients. So yes, you're
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah, it's something like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because
Uh-uh.
I remember you telling me one day, you were like, you do realize that people not doing this, right? You understand that this is, but you have to, sometimes you got to put people, and I want to say in check, but you got to make them understand and realize, because we can only operate from where we are and who we are.
Yes.
We don't understand and know like how the next person is doing it. And so you only know what you know. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you told me that day, I was just like, I think so. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. So I mean, it's some huge shoes to fill. But let's say, so we talked about keeping a home life balance between work and home. But what are some actual things that you do for self-care, or some things that you do so you can have that balance, at home, not taking work home?
Okay, that's great. Well, first of all, I my wife, she stays at home,
Mhm.
and first of all, what I do, she 5 o'clock, I'm off, right? I'm
Mhm.
off, but as soon as I'm off, we already have a schedule ready for the kids. So when they get off of school at 4,
Mhm.
at 3, they come home, they have free time for about 30 minutes. And then, but during the week, they get no screen time. You get no
Mhm.
screen time whatsoever during the week. And then, so from 3 to 3:30, they have free time. And then from 3:30 to 4, if they need to clean up something, they have to clean it up, like their room or whatever. And then from
Mhm.
4 to 4:30, 4:45, they have workbooks every day. They have to do their workbooks every day. And then from 4:30 to, or 4:45 to about 5:15, they either are doing their basketball practice, their basketball drills, or their football. So, and I'm saying this, I could have just said I have a schedule, but what the reason I told you all that is because while I haven't got off, I don't get off till 5, right?
Mhm.
But I'm listening and I'm hearing all this going on. And so that's like, okay, because I'm a workaholic, right? We all will be once you find your vision and you think, oh, let me just
Right.
twist up some more. But you have to realize that I'm listening to this growth and I'm listening to something that I have to be a part of. And that overtakes
Mhm.
this, right? So that in a sense is one of the biggest things that I've done, just being able to, okay, me and my wife implemented this strategy, and it's only going to work the way God told you it's going to work is if you're there, Chris. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So
wow.
now I
Yeah.
put it back on me to be done at when I need to be done, and then I need to get back in there. And that keeps my work-life balance going so good, because it shows me why I'm really working in the first place. And then it's a
Mhm.
cutoff. So
That's it.
that's one of the biggest things we did is have our kids have follow certain standards and certain
Hmm.
a schedule, and it actually helped me in return as well to realize that, hey, I need to stop working. I don't care what I'm working
Right.
on, you know. So
Right.
I think at the end of the day, it came down to, you know, some accountability on my end, but I
Hmm.
needed those things in place because before, man, I would just work forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just work
So would you
forever.
say when you had the epiphany that you needed to be there so you can implement that, and that's just like so powerful because it shows your posture and your stance as a father and as a husband, and that's amazing. But did you start that before the pandemic or after the pandemic? And the only reason why I say that is because I know personally in my life, it shed a lot of light on the things that we were doing,
Hmm.
and we kind of let go by the wayside things that were of importance. So it kind of, the pandemic for me, it opened my eyes to, hey, look, you might need to back off from that a little bit and put more energy and time into home. You know what I'm saying? Into
Yes.
the, stirring up gifts and talents and at what's at home instead of always trying to build outside. So by any chance that happened, that epiphany happened for you, pandemic, pre-pandemic or post-pandemic?
Oh, that happened about 3 years ago. So
Okay.
I've been doing this for about, yeah, this schedule that we implement. Now, I'm going to be straight honest too. It's not perfect, and we're not always. You can't do it 100%. God was the
Right.
only one that's perfect, but I mean, we're
Right.
a good 85-90% to where it's
Good.
impacting the kids. It's impacting people who associate with our kids as well, man.
Mhm.
It's just even the ministry. Christian, my oldest son, at his school, they have this program called Beach Club, um,
Mhm.
and it's like a Christian after school program. And
Okay.
he got in his first time they went on there. I got and then I heard from the teacher that following week, and they were like, "Man, it is so amazing how much Christian knows about the Bible. Like, are you serious? Like, you know what I mean?" And it's just
Mhm.
those kind of affirming that, okay, Chris, you stopped all that working and you focused more on the family, and it's God is affirming it. That's what you're
That's
supposed to
it.
do. Like you said, sometimes we don't see that win. We're not seeing it. We're just in that moment trying to get it
Mhm.
done. But when people affirm that, that gives you more reason to keep doing it. So
Right.
yes, I actually had it about 3 years ago, and it is
Okay.
going good. One of the things that I try to live by is that God said, "Hey, Chris, build this company, help these entrepreneurs," and that was where the stipulations, right? And
Mhm.
he was gonna give me the tools and everything, but not one. He didn't say, "Hey, you can only be successful if you get Target as a client or you keep this as your client." No, anything
Right.
he's saying, just go, and anything that comes your way, you can deal with. So, in a sense, my mind was already prepared for a pandemic type thing
Gotcha.
beforehand. So it doesn't matter what comes my way. I feel that I can go through it, and it may sound kind of arrogant or whatever, but that's the way I feel. I've been through a
Yeah.
lot that God has just proven.
Right.
So
Right.
now it's this is like a new thing. There's always going to be something, period. And
Right.
but if
Right.
you prepare for the worst, and you really have a solid foundation, you can only fall as far as that foundation. You can't hit rock
Mhm.
bottom anymore as far as business is concerned. Now you can
Right.
mess up and do it, but I mean, if you're keep fighting and keep doing what you're doing, you can't go past rock bottom. I mean, you can't go past
Yeah.
your foundation that you built. So
Yeah. That's awesome, and I totally agree with you. Our life experiences, the things that we go through, definitely we can handle. I've always felt like I can handle whatever comes my way.
yeah,
You just
you
got to be careful in saying it because you almost want to say like, oh my goodness, what's next? But then you don't want to say it
yes,
because you
you do.
don't really want to know what's
No.
next. So, so any last words you want to leave the audience in regards to either Be Infinite, the services you offer, where they can
Oh,
find you, also anything about impacting the lives of solopreneurs? Any last nuggets you want to drop on us?
yeah. Well, impacting the lives of solopreneurs. Who made up that word, solopreneurs?
I didn't make it up.
Oh,
It was
well,
already in use,
you're the one that
but
introduced it to me. So
I'm
what
brand. I have been using it in my brand. So
what
yes.
I'm gonna say to solopreneurs is that you need to get in touch with Toni. You know, she is a solopreneur expert, and she's building this foundation, this guide, this roadmap that so you guys to follow. I mean, I wish I had a roadmap wish I had a roadmap or a mentor or something in the beginning, man.
Right.
I'd probably be Jeff Bezos, whatever. But yeah, someone like you, Toni, and when people know your story, oh man, the stuff you went through, it's just like there's no reason you shouldn't be in a corner, balled up and forget the world,
Right.
but you're still out here
Right.
fighting and just I mean it's amazing. So what solopreneurs and anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur need to realize that that's the type of leader that you want to get behind. Somebody who's
Mhm.
been through something, not just all
Yeah.
the people out here just create a little course or create a little something and they really don't even know what they're talking about and they really haven't been through
Right.
something. I would
Right.
take your wisdom and your experience over anybody any day if I had to pick to have a mentor. So that's what I want to say to solopreneurs because you are
Okay.
on point. And as far as Be
Awesome.
Infinite, check us out. I have a podcast, the Business Minds podcast, powered by Be Infinite, every Friday at 12 noon. Toni's gonna be a constant guest on there. You've already been on there twice, and we loved
Yeah.
it. Some of the best shows we had. And you can also reach out to us at beinfinite.co. And you can reach out to me at chris@beinfinite.co and set up your free strategy session. And it's a non-salesy strategy session. So we're really going to be talking about you, where you are, where do you want to be, and what is it going to take to get there, right? So those are the things that we go over at beinfinite.co. So, I mean, this has been great. That's all I got for this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not a problem. I thank you so much for coming on. Because Journeist Conversations, we had a brief intermission a few months, but we're back at it. And you my second guest since we resumed, and so I just really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart from coming on and sharing this information with us
Of
and giving us
course.
a peek of how Christopher Shaw, the journeyist, lives his life and how he still impacts the lives of others through ministry and through what he does, which is
Yes,
marketing.
ma'am.
So I want to thank you again, Chris. You have an amazing weekend and enjoy your weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you,
Thank
sir.
you.
All
Thank you
righty.
all.
So that was awesome. It was amazing work, Mr. Christopher Shaw with Be Infinite Company. So I just want to say he said some really cool things about me, and I really appreciate it. But I've just come to the mindset of my why. I've always told people to know your why, know why it is what you do. So my why is, and your why should be big enough that it kind of frightens you a little bit. And mine does, because I realize that my why at the end of the day is I want to please God. And I want to make sure that I'm doing what He has instructed me to do. I want to be obedient and I want to build capacity in solopreneurs so that they can operate and they can create revenue for their families. They can live their dream out. They can do what God created them to do. They can find their tribe and, allow the tribe to hear their voices and the people that are assigned to them, because we all were put here with a distinct purpose and we all were put here in order to do the work that God sent us to do. So that is my why. And so that's why I am going to continue doing my why, continue fighting the fight, and continue to be a journeyist and embrace this journey that I'm on, and continue to help solopreneurs and those who strive to be the best version of themselves. So I'll see you. This is Toni. I'll be signing off, and I'll see you on next week with another episode of Journeist Conversations. Thank you.